Am I going? Am I doing it?
What's up, everybody? The boys are back in typical dive bar fashion. We have our ducks in a row, our T's crossed, I's dotted. It's not like we don't do this every week, but we're back, pretty fired up. We got a great guest tonight, boys. How we doing?
What's up? Feeling great. Feeling great. Great guest tonight. Super excited. 2-time Super Bowl champion. 2 different teams too.
Yep.
Bro, and this dude is one of the goated South Florida athletes of all time. Like, I can't wait to get into it, bro, but I'm going to save it. I'm saving it. I'm having a good week. I'm not going to jump the gun.
I got to give credit where credit's due, too. This guy, dude, I get on early every week. I get in here, and Sony's like, what's up, brother? He's just waiting on me. Like,
He's waiting
we've been
on us.
talking for 15 minutes, man. We already did half the podcast, so hopefully we can run it back. But, man, super cool, super down to earth. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting to know the guy, more than the player.
We got to start telling our guests that
Forewarning, his wall might offend a couple of you, but just deal with it.
Let's get over it.
According to him, it offends him sometimes. So
we got to start telling our guests like a little asterisk, like we'll be in there around 7, like a loose
7-ish.
If we start showing up on time,
7. South Florida 7 is 7:15, guys.
Yeah, exactly. If we start showing up on time, people are gonna hold us to that, and then that's a hard standard.
The crazy thing is, I told him, I said, no rush, just around 7. He was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I like that though. I fuck with that heavy. If you're on time, you're late. Write that down. All right, let's get to it, boys. Let's have some fun.
I'm putting the helmet on as always.
The opportunity is right now.
Terrific defensive play. Intercepted. Off the block. On the move. Going deep. Speed race. He's got Hill. He's got Hill. The Dolphins have recaptured the lead.
There he is.
There he is. We're back with the dive bar. Sony Michel, welcome to the dive bar. 2-time Super Bowl champion, Georgia Bulldog. What's up, Sony? How are you?
What's up, man? Appreciate y'all for having me.
Absolutely. We appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. We're here to just have some fun, learn about you. We see the Super Bowl photo in the background. That's what Eric was talking about. Might offend some Dolphins fans, but we're happy to have you on, and we're excited to get into some things here.
And I just want to get ahead of this real quick. I really do sincerely apologize that our producer didn't write you a beautiful intro. I'm gonna put him on blast because how dare he? One of the goats of South Florida sports, bro. I don't know if everybody even knows this. My boy ran a 10-700 in the 8th grade, bro.
Hey, Jesus.
In the 8th grade, Christian McCaffrey is quoted. He was the gold standard when they were growing up.
Dang.
This is the dog right here. So I appreciate you coming on, Sony.
Nah, no worries, man. And no worries for the intro. It's all good, It's, sometimes it's good to fly under the radar a little bit. I'm at that phase where I like to, just fly under the radar.
Yeah, I take it, Eric. You just cost us our chance of going on 2 mics, 1 ring, or 2 rings, 1 mic. We won't be getting our invite to the new podcast. Perfect segue.
we love segues around here. 2 rings. So, Sonny, let's get started here. You won a Super Bowl ring with 2 different teams at 2 very different times in your career. What was it like when you were with the Patriots winning the ring compared to when you were with the Rams?
2 different experiences, 2 different opportunities, man. They both were great. I get drafted, living my dream first year, get an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. And I think what was dope, man, was, getting opportunities to be around some dope guys, right? You talk about Tom Brady, Edelman, Gronk, James White, Brandon Bolden, Rex Burkhead, Hightower. So it's McCourty's. There's so many people in that locker room that I get to learn from, be around, soak up so much. It was hard. You know what I'm saying? At times it was hard, but when I look back at it after winning the Super Bowl, and getting those opportunities, man, it was worth it. And
scoring that touchdown back there.
100%, right? Scoring a touchdown, it was like, man, this is truly happening, right? When things like that happen, I'm just like in that moment where it's just like, bro, this is surreal. You know what I'm saying?
It's got to be a crazy moment, like scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl. You get up, you see like refs' hands are up. You see, there's no flags on the play. Like, bro, like I was doing this like in my head when I was a kid. Like I pictured this moment. That's gotta be crazy, man.
It definitely is. And I remember when I scored the touchdown, I was like squeezing the ball tight because it's like I need to take this one home with me, right? And luckily I did. I still got that ball. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing.
Well, bro, you said you were playing with Tom Brady and all these guys. Like, how were they off the field with you? Did you hang out with these guys? Did you guys like what was it like with them?
James White, obviously we were in the same room, a running back room. So we hung out a lot. Edelman, another guy that we were locker mates. So he invited me out a lot. And Tom Brady, surprisingly, I've been over to his house. So he invited me out. Even times like where I would take vacations, like in the off season, I'll be in, a different state like New York, and he'll hit me up and be like, yo, where you at? Because he'll see on my Instagram that I'm there. And like those little moments, those were dope to me because it's like, dude, this
Never fails.
Dude, it never fails. Every single podcast, I swear to God, every single time we got it's a phone call coming in. It's
Bobby wants you to look at his shirt, Ghost. Please look at his shirt.
No, the chat wants to see the shirt, son. Get it right.
Yeah, but man, it's so funny how like I think it's bad luck if it doesn't happen. If we don't have a phone call during the interview,
something's got to go wrong.
Something has to go wrong. Bobby was on the wrong Wi-Fi before.
And I really want to dive deep into this Tom Brady. We don't get many guys that have like been in the same locker room as Tom Brady, bro. Like,
yeah,
like
and Belichick.
I want to know everything about this guy. And it's so cool. Every time you hear a story about him, whether it's on here or whatever, like you always hear so many humbling, like Tom.
We can't hear you.
Hey, you're back.
I'm back.
Hey, listen.
It happens every time.
Every show.
That was my wife. She's gonna hear it from me. But
dude, you were so hyped to get back home. That's so awesome. Just one of the boys, man. That's so cool.
Yeah. So now the Tom Brady thing was dope because, like, bro, this is the GOAT, right? And I remember my first meeting being in New England, and I'm sitting there, and Tom Brady's in front of me, and I'm just like, I'm not even paying attention to the coach. I'm just like watching what this dude eat, watching how he sit, and I'm just like, bro, this is the greatest dude to play the game right here. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, what is all the hype about? Let me really see. And it was like, it was almost surreal. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, those was great opportunity. Like, you talking about opportunities that many people don't get, right? To be a part of a franchise, and I get it, you guys are on the other side, but to be a part of a franchise and you really get to see why they've won so many times. And it's like, dog, y'all really work hard. You know what I'm saying? And then I get an opportunity to go to the Rams. I go to LA. I'm living in LA and I'm thinking like, dude, I finally get to live this LA dream. Right. And I get there and obviously it was a dope experience. Different culture. It was almost a culture shock for me. Right, because it wasn't as strict, right? It wasn't as, so structured. They had their own way of doing things, right? And honestly, even though I felt like at New England we worked hard, but at the Rams, I felt like the practices were a little harder, like as far as like physicality, like dudes were trying to take your head off, and I'm just like, oh shoot, there's some ballers out here, right? Aaron Donald's on the field, Jalen Ramsey's at corner. So I'm on this team with a bunch of superstars. Odell Beckham's at receiver, Von Miller's at DN, Matthew Stafford's at quarterback, Cooper Kupp's at receiver. So I'm in another situation where I'm surrounded by dudes, right? I get to learn from, I get to pick their brain, and I get to hang out with. So you talk about two situations that was picture perfect. I mean, you can't ask for nothing better.
You did just bring up a good point, and it's something that's kind of popular, I should say, talked about a lot on the timeline on social media is we said when he went to the Rams, which obviously was with Coach McVay over there in early, I would say not really earlier years, but he was still finding his footing over there. You said it was a little bit less strict, and we hear a lot from on the Dolphins side of things, like locker room things and whatnot. We can get into that later. With Coach McDaniel, and obviously they come from the same coaching tree, all that. What do you mean by like less strict? Like, what was it, less structured, or dive in that a little bit?
So and this isn't right. I'm not downing anyone's organization because obviously it worked both ways,
Sure.
right? But you know, the way Bill ran things, Belichick, it was just kind of like, this is what we're doing, and we're gonna do it consistently. And through this journey, there ain't no, we're not throwing you a bone, right? And then you go to the Rams, and it's like, all right, this is how we're doing it. We're doing it consistently, and I may throw you a bone in there, and I may throw you a couple bones or two. You know what I'm saying? And it works out. And honestly, I think both organizations allowed me to understand what it meant to be a professional, right? You had one organization where it was just like, all right, we're on you. And the other organization where like, we're not on you as much. So you got to be more of a professional. So one prepared me for the other. So, it was eye opening to experience both of those.
And it's pretty cool because like you got the new age and the old school all in one. You know what I mean? Like you really did get both sides of the spectrum. Where do you think McDaniel falls? Do you think he's even more lenient than a guy like McVay?
Ooh, I think he's actually right in between both. Right? There's enough structure to where you understand, like, okay, we gonna work, but I'm gonna treat you like the professionals that you guys deserve to be. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we ain't got to be here all day, right, to get this game plan down pat. But I expect you to make sure when you come in tomorrow, we're going full throttle. Yeah. So, no, McDaniels is a great coach, man, and he was a guy that I wish I could have played for a little bit longer. And me and him, we go way back just through the draft process. He's a dude that knows ball. He knows structure. He knows what he wants. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out. And that's football, right? That's the National Football League, man. It's really hard to win football games in that league because the best team could play the worst team and lose.
Yeah.
Right. So McDaniels, I think he do got a plan. And I'm always interested to see because every year I'm always watching, like, I know he's up to something. Right. So, this is another year that we hope, we see what they do if they can get over that hump. But people aren't going to be excited. But I'm really excited to see what the Patriots do this year, man. They had a great offseason. They had a great offseason.
Threw some money around, crushed the draft. They got a young quarterback. That's always exciting. That's always the one piece you got to have in place. And I think they got a good one.
And Vrabel, bro. I love Vrabel so much.
Yeah. So
that dude's a coach right there.
He is. He's a dog, man. He's a dog.
Boy, like he's the kind of coach that like you get that extra 10% just because he hypes you up just being that guy.
And he's super involved. Like I didn't get to play for him, but I knew what he was all about because when I was at the Patriots and he was at Tennessee, we would joint practice. And the cultures were so similar. Obviously, he played with the Patriots. So I just knew, never played for him, but I just knew I already know what he's all about.
So I want to take it back. I'm going to take it back one step, and then I think Joe's going to take it all the way back. But I want to talk about that Georgia backfield, man. Like, I think when you first came to Georgia, Gurley was even there, correct?
Yeah.
So, dude, Todd Gurley, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, one backfield.
It's crazy.
Like, what is that like? What are those days like? What are those practices like? Y'all all going off, obviously rooting for each other, but like, how crazy is that?
It's crazy, really crazy, because you're talking about, and many people really don't put themselves in situations like that where it's just like, dude, I got to go in there and compete, or I can get lost in the mix, right? And there were times where I thought like, ooh, I can get lost in the mix if I don't really put my head down and work. But you're talking about, it's a great example of you are who you hang around, right?
Yeah.
So whatever these dudes did, or I followed and vice versa. So if they did something in practice that I thought was dope, I would be like, ooh, I got to go out there and top that. You know what I'm saying? To really catch the coach's eyes. And you're talking about cool dudes, down to earth dudes, man. These dudes are willing to share, right? Like it ain't like, yes, we all want to ball, but we all want to see each other eat and ball out. and to this day we all boys because of it. And it was a journey, right? It was a journey because I'm in a room full of dudes. Everybody can be the starter each week, right? We got Todd Gurley leading the way. I mean, this dude, my freshman year, almost won the Heisman just off of one game when we played Clemson. He scored like 3 touchdowns in like the first. It was like I was sitting on the sideline, like, dude, how do I ever expect to play if this dude's doing this, right? But it was that work hard mentality, just keeping my head down and just grinding it through.
And like, I don't think people realize like your come up, like you've been a star since, can I say 7th grade? I mean, can we go back that far? I mean, I don't know if everybody knows this. I know I touched on it a little bit earlier, but in 8th grade, you were running back for American Heritage, which is a great high school football team.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, you were a nasty kick returner.
Yeah, I did. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of talk about that, like, bro, like being an 8th grader playing with the high school kids. Like, how was that for you? I know football wise, you were a dog, but like just being like mentality wise, like not being as mature as those kids, or you know what I'm saying?
So when I got that opportunity, I've always thought I was good enough to be on the field with anybody, right? I didn't
Right.
care how old they were. I never really looked at it as age until people made it this big deal where it's just like, oh, he's an 8th grader. And then it was like, oh shoot, dang, I am really doing this as an 8th grader. But I thought I was just another football player going out there competing, trying to show that I'm good enough. And that was really my mindset, and I was just trying to be the best ball player. And when I realized the impact that I had, I really tried to uphold that, right? Which also can create some pressure year in, year out, right? Because now if I'm doing that as an 8th grader, now I got to do that from freshman year all the way to senior year. And kind of
There ain't no skipping grades in high school.
right. That's what I'm saying. And nowadays, guys are reclassifying. So hopefully, that could have been an option. But the good thing is, it was a blessing and a curse. Like I got hurt my freshman year, I tore my ACL, so I missed that season. So I didn't have to play 5 years in high school. And that kind of gave me perspective, man. That I wasn't untouchable, even though I had this incredible start to my high school career, and it kind of allowed me to just be more intentional, put my head down, work hard, and understand that, like, no matter what kind of success comes your way, humility goes a long way.
And I think the crazy part about it is like you had to grow up so much faster than everybody else around you.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't care what level you play football. Like that's a grown man sport. High school football is a grown man sport. As an 8th grader coming in, like now your friends, I'm sure your friends in 8th grade were looking at you like, wow, that's Sony Michel. Like,
This is
oh
South
my
Florida.
God.
South Florida
Yeah.
football. This is a different breed.
yeah, that is true. It is. And the good thing is I was able to hang around guys that was older than me, so I was able to learn the right way to do things,
Yeah.
right? And it was one of those things where I just, fit in. I was the kind of guy that sat back and I watched and I listened and I soaked in as much as I can to see how to properly navigate, so I'm not trying to, so I don't end up being another statistics where, okay, you start off strong and you can't finish what you started off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to ask you a question here, but before we do that, we had a Gregory Marcotte. He is a new member to our channel. We want to appreciate you and shout you out here. We appreciate you stopping by. We try to keep it positive over here, and the Bush lattes are tasting good from upstate New York. Thanks a ton, Gregory. That's awesome to have your support there. We appreciate you a ton and the 5 gifts that you gave us here. But Sonia, I wanted to. I know that we went back to high school here and we're talking about that, and you touched on something before that though when you were talking about Tom Brady being around these guys, being around these different cultures and locker rooms, and you got to play with like a few different quarterbacks, and as fans, and obviously like I said before, people who don't get that kind of opportunity, people who don't get these opportunities to be around these guys, we just see what we see on television, when we watch the football games. Like, what did Tom Brady do so well that it'll just never be replicated? And that extends to things on the field, off the field. Is there anything in particular that really stuck out? You're like, wow, like this is so unique. I'll never see anybody do this again.
He never missed a practice. Like For someone of his stature, you would think like, he's old. He's gonna take some time off because his arm's hurting or something. Like this dude, like he would still practice. Like he was still scout team reps, and I was just like, everything he had, he earned. Like this dude was. You could tell he had this mindset. Because at first I was just like, there's got to be some hype behind this. Like he's no way he's that good or that dedicated. Like he was that dedicated. Like this dude, you talking about from the way he took care of his body, how consistent it was. It was just kind of like, dude, that's a whole another job in itself.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then just seeing him at practice, like, the first team offense would go run there 10 to 20 plays, and then the scout team would go so the defense can get a look. And when the defense was going, if he wasn't doing scout team, he would be on the side still throwing every day. It would be like one of those things where it's just like, oh, there go Tom, like he throwing again, and he'll call guys out like, hey, come here, let's work on that route that we messed up a couple plays ago. Like he was super intentional. We're just like, dog, like that's hard to be so consistent and dedicated to something that you've done for 20 something years. Like, dude, you got to have this figured out already. But he would harp on it no matter, what year it was, what time it was. Like that was his thing. Like for him to piss off Bill would be him not practicing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this dude practiced every day. Like I haven't seen him miss a practice.
That's wild.
Tom is unreal, man. That's like.
I was gonna say, especially in a day of vet rest days, you see him on the play sheet or the injury report all the time is vet rest. But Tom Brady never taken, not a playoff, nothing like that, not even a practice off. That's crazy.
Yeah, and like the dope thing too, I enjoyed was playing with him. Like he was like playing with a coach. Imagine bringing your coach out on the field. That's what it was like playing aside him, because we would be in the backfield and I would be in like blitz pickup situation, right? And this dude, I would be looking at all my keys, like, all right, they go to safeties, they go to corners. All right, linebacker look like he's about to come, and he would just tap me and be like, Sony, 44 is over there coming. And in my head, I'm just like, all right. And he would come because he's seen this so many times. And like he would tell me things that it would be times he handed me the ball and it would be like, go, because he sees the hole. Like
that's crazy, bro.
And it would be like
mid-game, mid-play.
Mid handoff. Go, go, go. Because he just sees the hole. It's like you better hit that hole, the same hole I see. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, those are the little things that people don't like. He was so detailed that it was just like, dude, he's trying to be 10 steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah. And he's trying to make you better. Like it's not like he's being selfish. He's like, I want to make this person better. Like this, my job. Like he's taking it upon himself.
100%.
That reminds me of stories about like Zach Thomas, like on the defensive side, like super undersized. Nobody gave him a chance. That dude was so detailed and knew where every play was going, bro. That it's like to this day incredible. Like it's an incredible, and to hear stories like people don't realize everybody in NFL are dogs. Yeah. Everybody's a dog. It's the little things, it's the details, it's the film room, it's the extra reps, and that shit just goes unnoticed. Like the fans don't really see that. You know what I mean?
100%. And those guys that really harp on the details are hard to play against. Even if they're older and they don't move the same, but like they'll beat you to the spot. You talk about a Luke Kuechly, right? That's a guy that, can you imagine being in the backfield and we're about to run power to the right and he's just on the other side, like, they're running power right here. And as a running back, you're just like, damn, this dude's right. Like, how do I avoid this? What he just like, he knows the play without, because he's seen it so many times.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys in the league that really pay attention to the details, and that's why they're so good.
Yeah, Luke Kuechly was a great example because, like, dude, that's the ultimate student of the game. Like, he got the kid coming in. He got the kid. Hey, it's all good. I already know that hand. Back him off, baby. Back him off. Hey, it's all good. like we said earlier, we love good segues. Unfortunately, you brought up Kuechly, who was somebody who had to retire early due to the concussions and whatnot. And I know that you don't mind speaking on it. Talk about kind of like your medical journey. Like, I remember you once said like your body was kind of telling you it's time. Like, you know when it's time, because like we just went through the draft and we were all like, is Will Johnson's knee situation serious? Like, how serious is that? We went through Jay Ajayi, who basically came out with a chronic knee issue with no cartilage, where it was like, he's going to be great, but he's only going to last for however long. Kind of talk to us about that journey and like, as a pro athlete, how you deal with that and how you make that decision, like, okay, it's time, and how you listen to your body.
It's tough as an athlete, right? Because it's all about your support system. And I think obviously the more you do off the field helps, but I also think your coaches help, right? And if you have a coach that's going to run you to the ground, that ain't going to help, right? If you got a coach that's going to help load manage you the right way without showing favoritism or showing that, oh, this guy doesn't have to practice these days, we're just like, all right, you're going to practice, you're going to only get these amount of reps so you can be fresh for the games. And honestly, that's what I admired the most about Sean McVay. It was like his whole concept was, if we have to stop practice for the team so we can be fresh on Sundays, I'll do that. Right. And that was huge to me. And that's why that's why we played so fast. In, with guys that have, those injuries or dealing with any kind of, the game is cutthroat, right? Like, you get banged up. The NFL is there, but you almost got to protect yourself in an aspect, right? And I came into the league and I had knee issues. And I think they got worse as I was playing, but I was able to manage it. You know what I'm saying? I was able to go through my career and really, hold my own down. But it got to a point where it was just like, man, is it worth it? Right? Do I want to save some time so I can try to play with my kids? Then it became it starts messing with your head, right? And that's where the mental health starts kicking in, where it's just like, dude, I'm always in the building at 4 a.m. and I'm the last one to leave, and maybe this team isn't showing me my value. Is it still worth it? Right. And it's so many different situations that you can look at it, or you can look at it from a standpoint where it's just like, dude, I'm getting banged up. Like I can't, if I get a concussion, I can't report every concussion. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna get cut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta be available. So I can't really take care of myself from that standpoint. So there's certain things that you gotta know when to fight the fight and when not to fight the fight, because your job's important. Right. And I think some players are in tougher situations than other players. And for me, I was grateful enough to get what I wanted out of the game. Right. I walked away from the game where I don't look back and be like, man, I wish I could have changed, or I wish I could have, like, dude, I was blessed. I was able to get an opportunity to see 2 Super Bowls, play with some great players that I still to this day have relationships with. And, those are things that I admire.
So somebody in the chat actually asked a funny question.
Yeah.
How was it being on the other side of the Miami Miracle in 2018?
Yo, that is.
You didn't see that one coming.
Shout out, Jonathan.
So it's crazy because, when that play came up, I was in a similar situation when I was in college. We was playing Tennessee at home. And when we were playing Tennessee at home, we were kind of celebrating on the sideline, like, we're about to go out, like this. And they threw a Hail Mary and scored and won the game. So when that situation came up, I actually sat on the bench next to James, and I was just like, dude, I don't know about this. I've been on the other side of this. And next thing you know, the crowds just start getting louder and louder. And here's the crazy thing about it. I don't know if anybody, so if we would have won that game, we would have won the division.
Yeah.
So all our division shirts was out in the locker room already.
Oh,
And the staff had to like run in there, because if Bill would have seen the shirts out, it would have been
shit.
it'd have been game over.
We did
Somebody
not know
would've get
that.
fired.
That is some good insight. We did not know that. That's crazy. They had the shirts out for you.
Shirts and hats were out. Like, we were about to go in the locker room and kind of be division champs, whatever, and the equipment staff had to go in there and clear all that out.
I say this respectfully, but I do think I say this for everyone. Let's go!
That's awesome. Yeah,
unfortunately, one of my proudest moments as a Miami Dolphins fan.
Dude, we love playing little brother, like, spoiler alert.
What would Bill Belichick would have done if he saw those shirts, you think? Just from knowing him.
Ooh. Somebody would probably lost their job.
I'm telling you, bro. Somebody's losing their job.
That's a job. That's like you're losing your job. Like you talking about details. Like this is a man of details. Like that's like so you didn't prepare for both situations.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll make that happen. See you Monday morning.
Crazy,
oh, so you're the reason we lost. Fired.
Oh
but,
my God.
I mean, you talking about him? That was one of those situations where it's like, dog, like it's once in a lifetime.
Literally.
And speaking of Bill Belichick, it's like we've rarely gotten to see a lighter side of Bill.
Was that 2017?
2018, I believe.
Was that the year we won the Super Bowl or the next year?
I think it was that year, right? No, yeah, it definitely wasn't 2019 because 2019 was our tank year.
No, you won it in 18.
Was that the year we lost to the Miami Miracle?
I'm pretty sure.
No way.
Yeah, it had to be.
I feel like it was.
Yeah, it was. So that year, we actually stayed. So this was.
Hold on, producer Eric has fixed us. The Eagles.
What year was it?
The Eagles won the Super Bowl that year.
In 18?
And
you guys lost to them.
You sure? No.
I mean,
no. We won in 19.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I got drafted in 18. Yeah, I got drafted in 18. We won it in 19. But was it that 19 year? It was that 18 season the Miami Miracle happened.
So you got the Miami Miracle in 18, and you got the Nick Foles special play.
Oh yeah.
So that was the year prior.
Yep.
That's tough.
So yeah, so that year was that was tough. That was tough.
Tom was in the lab that year, boy.
but we finished it out on top though. So
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, listen, as a Dolphin fan, man, it's crazy because like those Tom Brady years, we kind of knew like there's no chance. So like playing spoiler was basically all we had.
Yeah.
And especially with Adam Gase, I mean, that's all we had.
Hey, we didn't have much, but it was honest.
Hey, listen, y'all.
Yo, did you grow up a Dolphin fan?
I actually didn't, man. I grew up really liking college. I didn't really pay attention to NFL too much. Like,
but that's how you know he was a dog in middle school, bro. This guy didn't even work. Like, he didn't do no fandom in NFL. Like, I'm going to the NFL. I'm just gonna focus on college right now.
So I actually was a Miami Hurricanes fan.
It's so funny. I was gonna ask you earlier. Do you think your backfield was better than the McGahee Portis? That's a tough one. That's a tough one, bro.
That's tough because they all ended up being dogs in the league.
Jeez. I mean,
right?
So did you guys.
Yeah. Was it more of them though?
Yeah, there's definitely more of them.
That's the conversation.
To me, that was the greatest running back room of all time in college to me.
Yeah, that's the conversation. Conversation.
Oh, here comes Bobby off the top ropes.
No, I just like, dude. I just said, look. Hey, first of all, y'all got knee issues. Like, without the knee issues, Georgia room is solid. But
McGahee too.
McGahee had the ultimate knee injury. That's true. But look, Todd Gurley. I don't get to say this often, so I got to drop it. North Carolina legend. Sony Michel. Nick Chubb. Now, Nick Chubb got the knee injury, but he over here squatting 750. Dude, these boys, we send those clips to the group chat every day. Nick Chubb is
running shoes, bro.
So I don't know, man. That Georgia room was insane. I mean, Todd Gurley still like the most touchdowns, and like he hasn't played in like 4 seasons. He's like top 3 touchdowns in the league. It's dude, that's insanity.
I think it was since 2010. Todd Gurley is 3rd most in touchdowns, despite not playing for how many years?
Exactly.
That's crazy, man. But Sony, we were talking before. We were kind of laughing that if Bill Belichick ever saw those shirts and someone was getting fired, like we rarely get to see the lighter side of Bill Belichick, except for that roast of Tom Brady, which was funny. I didn't know he had that kind of side to him. That was funny. But were there any moments that you remember where Belichick kind of broke character from that stoicism that he kind of exudes over the locker room?
No, he always had actually some type of humor, which was strange. But like every team meeting, he would throw a joke at us.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't know
I
if
don't know if I should laugh.
Can
like
we
if we're
laugh?
supposed to laugh or we're not supposed to laugh. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he did have this sense of humor that was like, this dude is actually funny.
Yeah, he
But
was
I'm
pretty
also
funny.
scared of him.
Yeah.
He was pretty funny on that roast. That was funny.
Yeah. Nah, he was. He did a great
Hey,
job.
shout out to Bill. Got him a little young now. He's looking good. The boy's feeling good right now. He's in love. Happy for Bill, bro.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah. What do you think UNC is going to look like this year? I know Bobby over there. Bobby over there is he's thinking national championship over there.
They ain't got a quarterback, dog.
Yeah.
Nah, I think he's gonna get them right.
Yeah.
His style is fit for a college style.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's I think he's gonna do right. Now, the hard part is this whole NIL deal. How do you keep players?
Yep.
How do you keep them happy? And Bill, I'm interested to see how that works out for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he comes from the generation where like college players, there's nobody's getting paid, and he's like, don't even ask for money. So it'd be cool to see him like adjust to that, bring his style to a college team. Like you said, his style is kind of built for that college program.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's gonna put people in position too. Obviously, Bill's the kind of guy that adjusts. He does a great job adjusting. So he'll put people in position to make sure he gets what he needs done.
Another thing about the whole NIL thing, he got to UNC and they turned the budget from $5 million to $20 million. So I mean, he's doing all right.
Yeah, that's huge. That's crazy.
That's I really thought they might try to go get Nico, but they didn't get involved. I really thought that could be a big swing right out the gate for Bill, but they didn't do it.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. I thought Miami should have went and got him too.
Yep. Actually, we just got word behind the scenes that Ghost, go ahead and tell everybody what happened for you.
I was on call for work. I work at a hospital, so I was on call, but I got called in, so I gotta get going here. But I'm still gonna go on, but I didn't think I was gonna get a call. I usually don't 99% of the time, but they need me right now, so I gotta get called in. But Sonny, it was a pleasure meeting you. We got I don't know, Eric probably bring you up, or we got another guy on here, Big E. He's an awesome dude. We'll probably bring him up. But it was my pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for coming on. But I apologize that I can't stay. It's just something that happens.
Bro, you're wasting our time. Get off. Let's go. Go save
For
lives.
sure.
Thank you, Ghost. Thank you for your service, Ghost.
Bring my boy Big E up here.
Yeah, let's get some Big E in the house.
What's up, Big E?
So, Sony, one thing they didn't tell you is that they always have somebody on the back end just in case someone has to leave all of a sudden in the podcast. They always got somebody sitting there just in case. I'm kidding.
Nothing wrong with the alternate.
Exactly, and I got the hat too, so I definitely fit in. I had to find the right fit. So got my Dolphin stuff in my hat. But it's been great actually listening to the story and Bill and what your thinking is as far as your college and those guys. I mean, you probably have heard this before, Sony, but from a fantasy football perspective, when you were racking up the touchdowns, man, guys were lucky to have you on their squad. And I was one of those guys that was lucky enough to have you on the squad at that time. And it was just a lot of fun. And, when you're playing fantasy football, when the Dolphins are playing the Patriots, you're hoping, I hope Sony has 4 touchdowns against us, but I hope the final score, the Dolphins beat the Patriots, 45-35 or whatever it is.
No, that's so now that I didn't understand it at first because people used to either love me or hate me. And then now that I play fantasy, now I see. I'm like, yo, I'm ready to send some comments.
Dude, you should be cutting left more often.
Like, dude. Nah, but it's fun. It's definitely fun though, man. And I appreciate it if I did you some justice. And I, hey, and if I didn't, I apologize.
No, it's all good. And you know what I love about fantasy too is just you can have because of fantasy football, I can have a really educated conversation with a fan of another NFL football team. Because otherwise I don't track, what the Minnesota Vikings are doing, or I don't track what some of these other teams outside of the AFC are doing. But this allows me to know who their superstars are. So I can say, hey, Justin Jefferson, he's a killer, man. He's killing everything right now, and I think it makes for a good conversation.
Yeah, it does. And obviously, and it keeps you super entertained too. Like you kind of get to, like you said, you get to follow teams that you normally don't. And I appreciate it too, because it kind of keep me super engaged. Because typically I would watch guys that are either my boys or a team that I played for. But now, while I'm playing fantasy, I'm typically watching a team that I typically would
Go
watch.
ahead, say it. The red zone, baby.
Yeah, I love the red zone. It's great.
So,
yeah.
Nah, it's great.
I wanted to ask you about that. You actually beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, correct?
Yeah.
And then you turn around, went to the Rams, and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a subtle flex, my dog.
Yeah, I had to hear about that a lot when I was with the Rams.
Oh, I'm sure.
They weren't too happy about it, but we got the ring, we got the job done, so people were excited about that one.
What we would give for a ring in Miami, Sony. It's been that carrot that the reason that each of us are still fans is that we think one day we will get that illustrious trophy, and we'll be celebrating like crazy in Miami. This is South Florida, and you probably know this. South Florida is a football town. All of a sudden, we have basketball, we have hockey, we've got baseball, we've got soccer. But if the Dolphins were able to figure out how to make it deep into the playoffs, how to get to the Super Bowl, this town will erupt, and people will be blowing dust off of their old jerseys and just saying, just like the old days, we're finally back.
Oh, I'm definitely going to jail. 100%.
Yeah,
we won a Super Bowl. You're probably going to have to bail me out.
The dive bar going to be under for a little bit.
Nah, it'll really turn this city up. It'll be dope. I think it'll be dope. I ain't gonna lie, I'm here for it. I'm here to see it. I am here for it.
Me too.
But what's gonna take you guys there?
Well, I was going to ask you. You see our running back room right now. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about the new kid, Ollie Gordon? I mean, do you know anything about him?
I don't know much. I know the two. I know honestly, the running back room is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Right. I think they can get done what they need to get done. Receivers. Obviously, number one question. Can we stay healthy?
Yeah.
Can the team stay healthy? And honestly, with a healthy team, dude, the Dolphins, y'all know, they're unstoppable.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the issue, though, bro. And so, I don't know, just because you get a voice from the player side, and I really think that the fans will appreciate this. One of my least favorite things that happens on social media is a bunch of Dolphins go down, and everybody's blaming the training staff. Everybody's blaming the upper level. Like, can you just please elaborate to the people, like, the trainers have nothing to do with that, bro. It's a physical game. This is a crazy game. Like, shit just comes with the territory.
100%. People tend to blame the strength and conditioning staff, like, they're not lifting enough. Like, that's not true. It's a physical game. Like, guys are gonna get hurt. Like, if we're going to next season and think guys aren't gonna get hurt, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And it's really about hard work, consistency with a little bit of luck.
Yep.
Right. We need a little bit of luck on our side, right? And some teams are gonna get hit harder, and some teams aren't. Right, and the Dolphins have been the team that just got the short end of the stick.
Yeah,
right.
Like, we get that short end every season. Every season, it feels like we're getting that short end of the stick for some reason. But I know everybody's feeling it, though. I know every team has their. I mean, look at Detroit last year. They lost half of their defensive players were on IR by the end of the year. Finally caught up to them, in the postseason. But still, they were chugging along even with the backups.
Yeah. So. It's one of those situations where, man, it's like another year, another opportunity, right? And I know the fans are ready to see it happen. So just got to make it happen, right? And I think and to kind of go back, right? And I think the Patriots were so consistent is because they didn't change much. Not much change for them, right? So like Bill kept things the same. And I know a lot of teams, when free agency come, there's a lot of movement happening.
There you go again. Oh, he's back.
That phone call. And I got the kid coming in.
You can
Another phone call. He's showing off that 5-star pedigree right now, multitasking.
We all do it. We all
How you
do
feeling
it.
today, Biggie? Everything good, bro?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, doing back to work, man, and back to work working remotely. That's actually it. So
Well, you look fantastic, brother.
thanks, man. Yeah, I've lost almost 90 pounds actually. So wish I could say it was all
thought it
because
may
I'm
have been the
working.
hat that was slimming you down.
It definitely makes me small. It makes me look smaller. There's no question about it. Dark hats always make me a little smaller.
Oh yeah. No, I'm a bigger guy, so the black always helps out a little bit.
Absolutely. But it's funny that Sony was talking about, what the Dolphins need to do to be Super Bowl, and he was asking us at first, and health is the key, because I think we get a healthy Tua for 17 games. I mean, we're 2 seasons. Well, we're on our second season since he had that amazing year where, for the first couple of games of the season, they were talking potential MVP, based on some of the numbers he was putting up. Right. So it's a matter of, can he stay healthy? That's going to be the biggest question. I think from the offensive side, if he stays healthy, everything else should fall in line. I think that's going to be good. Yeah. I like our offensive line. But the defense, I think, is where there are some questions. But the saying always goes, if you can score more on offense than what you allow on the defense, it really doesn't matter. So if Tua is healthy, we should be good
honestly,
to go.
It starts with the health of the O line.
That too.
I mean, the O line health is everything. That's the pulse of the offense, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we love a good segue, Sony. You got a guy that's pretty close to you, Isaiah Wynn, right?
Yeah.
And you want to elaborate on your guys' relationship and what you guys got going on?
Yeah, me and Isaiah were boys. We were roommates in college. We got drafted to the Patriots together.
Oh, thanks.
And he's a guy that, unfortunately, he's dealt with a lot of injuries in his career. He's a dog. But I'm excited to see what his future holds. He's a guy that's gonna keep grinding it out. And I hopefully it works out for him one of these years, right? And that's like, are we gonna blame the training staff because he's been getting hurt? No, like, it's just been his journey. Everyone's journey is different. Still a good player. He's still got a lot left in the tank. I think he just needs to get that one season that he's healthy, and I'm sure if he's with the Dolphins next year, if he signs back, he'll be excited.
How close are we to getting that deal done, Sony?
Yeah, you kind of insinuating a little bit there.
If I was in those meetings, we'll get the deal done. But
sir.
That's out of my that's out of my pay grade. You know what I'm saying? I don't get paid enough for that.
Now, does Isaiah is he your business partner as well, or?
Oh yeah, he's also my business partner in GVO that we do. We have an indoor cycle studio in Fort Lauderdale that we have. Obviously, we incorporate wellness with it. So it's a dope spot to come check out.
Yeah, and I was about to elaborate on that because it was so hard for me to introduce your company because I didn't want to call it a spin facility because that facility is insane. And for all of you guys that know, I do glass work. I was able to do Sony's mirrors for him. And man, what a facility you built, bro. It's beautiful. He's got all kinds of different machines in there for, rehab and getting your body right. And it was really cool concept you guys came up with.
Definitely, man. GVO Cycle, y'all should check it out, man. We got saunas, cold plunge, Normatec boots. We got cycle classes. They're man, high energy, great people, great staff in there. We have a great team. People that come in there, you feel welcome, feel the community, and feel the vibes, really.
But what gave you the idea of opening something like that up?
So when I was playing, I was doing a lot of cycling for low impact, right? Because after practice, I would, because of my knees, I would need extra like conditioning. So a bike it doesn't put any pressure on my joints. So I would do it. And when I was doing it, when I was playing in California, I fell in love with it. I love the community. And I was like, man, I want to offer more. I want to take this concept and take it to another level. And basically that's what I did. So that's the workout that I do nowadays, man. I'm being there tomorrow night riding, right? You know, getting my workout in, not really putting pressure on my joints, and still hitting that sauna, getting that cold plunging, so feeling good afterwards.
And I feel like that's good for anybody who's had body issues. You didn't have to play sports to do this, right? Like
100%.
this is something you could do for the rest of your life. You know, you got bad joints, you got bad knees. Like this is something that can push you be part of a community. Like you guys are building a community there. I think it's super cool, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's anybody can join, really, because you talking about we all deal with either back pains or knee pains or something that just out of nowhere happens. You know, really being focused on your body. You know, that's kind of where we come in play, right? We don't technically focus on athletes. We just had everyday people, right? You come for work, you come work out. Before work, you come work out. So that's why we offer those classes.
Well, congrats, man. The place is beautiful.
Nah, appreciate it.
Before we let you get off here, we'll let you jump off here and we're going to talk to Big E a little bit, let him talk about his health journey. I want to give you a chance to plug what you're working on right now with the podcast, man. I know you dropped your first episode this week. Honored to have you on here right after that. Man, I watched the first episode. It's super cool. Obviously, anytime you can listen to ball, I'm there. But from a perspective like yours, always good. And you got a co-host or a partner with that too. So go ahead. Tell us about the podcast, man.
Yeah, man. Got a podcast going called Two Rings, One Mic. A lot of people insinuate, you know, there's actually two microphones on the show, but my co-host name is Mike, right? So it's a lot of different, a lot of different wordplays. There's only one Mike on the show, but he's my trainer. He's trained me since 7th grade until I retired. So he was with me throughout my journey. And man, we've been talking ball all those years, right? Whether it's DMs, text messages, and we never agree on most of the things we talk about. And some of my takes are crazy. I typically, you know, I got the idea to, man, let me just be able to voice my own opinion, give my opinion on the game. Let's talk football. Let's talk championship ball a little bit. You know, it's a platform that I want to be able to give a different perspective, right? I dropped my top 5. It's not like anyone else's top 5. Some people were surprised who I had in there. And most importantly, man, it's a place where I'm not going to ever discredit anybody, right? You know, you may not be my favorite or my top, right? But, you know, I'll give you the respect you deserve, but I'll also add in some of my critiques of why I may not have you so high or so low. So, I mean, there's a lot of good content coming soon, some great topics, you know, whether it's about transition from football, you know, some of the things we deal with after football. You know, you talk about the art of coaching, right? We talk about McVay, we talk about Bill Belichick. You know, I get to talk about Coach Smart that I played for. You know, we could talk about some of our top players, top 10 quarterbacks, right? You know, quarterback is a position that is interesting to me, you know, because there's such a big drop off from the first string to the second string. So those are conversations that we're going to talk about, you know, just keep the people entertained and, you know, hopefully people like it and tap in.
For sure, man. We'll definitely do our part helping you share that and, you know, supporting anything you put out. Like I said, I like the fact that it's only one episode. Obviously, I'm sure you'll have guests and other things down the road, but like, I love that you didn't just come out with a big guest and try to do that. You were just like, hey, let's talk some ball. Let's just sit here and let's talk like guys talk. And that's kind of like what we do, you know, like, of course, we're lucky enough to have guys like you to give us time and have guests, but we just like to sit here and talk ball, man. And that's one thing I really liked about what you put out, man. It wasn't nothing crazy. It was like 30 minutes just talking some ball. Let's talk about some draft guys. That's current. So, yeah, man, I really like it. It's a good vibe. It's definitely, if you want to learn ball, talk some ball. That's a good place to be.
No, I appreciate that.
And definitely I've got to check that out as well. Did have one question in the chat, which I am curious about now too, now that it was mentioned, because he was very observant. Right behind you, behind your right shoulder, looks like a Miami Dolphins jersey. It looks like it's number 20. I recognize the aqua color. So I'm just curious if that is truly a Dolphins jersey.
Yeah, it's a Dolphins jersey. It's a Dolphins jersey and it's a Chargers jersey. And those are representations of my journey.
Okay.
Even though those weren't the highest points of my journey, it still gave me perspective, right? Dolphins
Excellent.
jersey was the first time I've ever been cut, right? I've always been 5-star. I was first rounder. I was always been that guy.
Got it.
And that was the first time in my life I wasn't chosen, right? So it gave me perspective. Then I went to the Chargers after that. You know, played a little bit, didn't play as much. It kind of gave me perspective to start thinking about life after football. So those two teams, those two jerseys really mean a lot to me because they are part of my journey. And with those two jerseys, I have, one of my highest moments.
There you go.
Right?
There
Scoring
you
a
go.
Super Bowl touchdown.
Yep.
And those are the reasons why I have those. People be like, oh, they come here like, why you got those jerseys up? I could have, I could have the Super Bowl jerseys up, but I was just like, nah, I want to have those jerseys, because they just remind me of my complete journey.
That's great inspiration. Thank you for sharing that. It's cool. And without those jerseys, you wouldn't be where you are today. You wouldn't have been able to accomplish what you did. So that's amazing.
I love that Big E called that because like you told us that backstage because that's such a good dude, that's the realest thing anybody's ever said on this podcast because it's not your biggest trophy or your biggest flex or the money or like none of that. It's like, dude, that's my journey, dude. And like that reminds me every day of like valuable life lessons, the real life lessons.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is, man.
Well, Sony, bro, thank you so much for sliding on us, man. Seriously appreciate you. Wish you nothing but good luck with your new business and all your ventures. I don't know if everybody knows, but Sony's a shark, bro. He don't stop working. And it's something I look up to, and I really, really appreciate you coming on, bro.
Nah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me, man.
Appreciate you, brother. Go have a good night with them kids, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
All right, bro. Big E.
What's up, gentlemen?
E. I'm kind of glad you got to jump in there a little bit and mix it up with the boys.
That was fun. And actually too, I have this over on my right-hand side. That is my year of photos. I have 4 of them now representing 4 seasons of pictures. And you both made that cut. Bobby, I met you on the turnstile, and Jarabi, I saw you at the Tua Luau. Yeah. And I got Chris, I got Adam, Ghost of Adam Gase on there as well.
There's so many names.
I try not to go with the legal name. I try and go with the Twitter names, but it's all good. It's all good. It's nice to see you. Thank you guys for having me on too. That was great to talk to Sony Michel. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, that worked out so good. And dude, we've been trying, like Eric, Big E knows, me and him been trying to get him on for like 2 weeks straight. Like I thought we was going to get it done in the second round. Then the Dolphins traded up, of course, and threw everything for a loop. So, yeah, dude, it's so good to have you on, man. Obviously, we're big fans of you, and I mean, you're always awesome, and you do so much for people in the community, and take the time, help people get tickets or find a parking pad, just anything. You've always done that. So, like, it's nothing for us to bring you on, man, and kind of give you some spotlight and some time to talk about your story, man.
Thank you. Do you want me to? I could start from the very beginning if you want me to, or I can give you the snapshot of what it is or where I am today. I'll just give the brief synopsis. Last April, I'm losing weight, getting ready for a cruise with my family. And, I started getting really nauseous every time I was about to eat food, and then I would belch. And then I had some other gastro issues that were happening. I was like, all right, maybe this is, never had any issues like that in my life. I'm like, maybe I'll take some meds. Maybe I'll try some Gas X or something, see if that helps. Nothing helped. So fast forward to June, I had blood tests. I had my annual physical with my doctor. And that's when they said, yeah, there's something wrong with your liver enzymes. The numbers came back really high. It's not normal. So we're going to have you get checked out. So started in June, went to a couple doctors, finally got to my 5th doctor in University of Miami. And that's when they said I had what I now know a lot about, which is primary sclerosing cholangitis, PSC, which is an autoimmune disorder of the liver. There's no rhyme or reason why people get this disorder. I've never really drunk alcohol, even though, if I have 1 drink a month, maybe that's max for me. And they just said it's something where your cells are fighting each other and killing each other off. And it's made the liver a lot worse. And at one point in November, I was like very, very yellow heading to the hospital, and they had to install 2 drains into my stomach, into my abdomen, which are still there now. I have to get them changed about every 6 to 8 weeks to where bile can be released because the livers aren't functioning properly, and they are now stage 4 cirrhosis. So really, I'm just kind of taking one day at a time, staying positive as I can. Fortunately, through the process, I University of Miami team, which is amazing, by the way. Every podcast or everything I talk, anytime I go on anything, I want to say give them love because they're amazing down there at UM. But they said, if you want a live donor, you got to go to UPenn. That's the best place for it in the country. So went up there, went through a couple months worth of evaluation, and a couple weeks ago they came back and said, you're approved. Now we just need to find a match. And that's kind of where we are right now, which is I think it's very anxiety provoking because, I got a call today from Pennsylvania. I'm like, maybe this is the call.
Jeez.
And it was for something else, because I really just want to kind of move on. I want these tubes to be out of my system. I want to be able to just enjoy life like normal. Like we can't even make plans to go out of town as a family because, if I get sick, if I just get a fever out of nowhere, they might not know how to treat me like they know how to treat me down at UM. So,
Right.
So that's it. And, it's been tough on my family, but they've been extremely supportive. And it's just, I had never spent one night in a hospital prior to the end of September. And since I've been in for 42 days and 6 different visits for various ailments and various issues where I'm just feeling horrible. So that's where we are, man. I hit 50 and it all just went to shit, man. That's basically where it went.
I think what's crazy about it is like you started like you hit 50, you got serious about your weight loss, you got in the best shape of your life, and then got hit with this bullshit.
Yeah, and I look in the mirror and I'm happy, seeing the slimmed down version of me, but I also kind of in my mind, it's like it's happening for the wrong reasons. It's
Right.
If I wanted to do it, then I would feel a lot better about it. But it's really because I can't eat at when I go to the hospital, if I'm there for 4 or 5 days, I lose 20 pounds over the weekend. It's because I get so nauseous and the whole process is just so different. And then they make me starve because they've got procedures that they have to do. So it's not a way to live. And I'll be honest, I'm probably better off than some other people are right now. Some people that deal with livers, they're waiting for the deceased donors. When someone passes and they say, I will be a liver donor, then, they could be considered for these folks. Those are the really sick ones. And here's the thing. If I don't find a live living donor, I just basically have to wait till I get sick, until I get sick enough to where I will be high on that cadaver list and I could be eligible for that. And I'm hoping that it doesn't come to that. Which is why I love the support that I've gotten so far from the Dolphins community, from the podcast community, from just like everywhere I look. It's people are sharing the story. Many people have applied and they're going through the process. I can't say thank you enough. And when it happens, man, I'm going to be, I already told my wife, if I get the call, I'm going to be crying like a baby. But I mean, that's how important it is to me.
I truly
right now.
feel like it's going to happen for you, man. I'm a big proponent of good things happen to good people, bro. And nobody's a better person than you. I mean, I know I only know you through Twitter, and me and you've gotten together a couple times, and every time you're super infectious as a person. Like you always bring joy to anybody you're around, and man, it's just tough. It's tough. You're so comfortable talking about it. It's my first time talking with you about it. It's not as easy.
I'm transparent, man. I was hesitant to share my story when it first started happening, to be honest with you. But now, because I've gotten to this point, I'm happy that I did, because it's not really a surprise. I know people knew like the first time I went to the hospital when I was missing Dolphins games, and now everybody knows why. And it also brings some awareness to this disease. I'm in a Facebook group. There's 7,500 people around the world that are in this Facebook group that have PSC. Wow. It's a very, very rare disorder. And again, nobody knows how you get it. There's no common denominator amongst all of us. And some people get it when they're 12 or 13 years old and they don't find out about it, or it doesn't act up until they're 35 or 40 years old. I didn't know anything about it till last year. So, but yeah, I've become an open book, because the more people I can talk to about it, the more opportunity there's going to be that someone's going to say, hey, I got a friend who's looking for a liver. He's a pretty big guy. You're a pretty big guy. Maybe you could consider something like that. Right. And so that's why I don't mind talking about it, because I think it's going it's going to take these conversations and the podcasts and the just a lot of eyes and sharing for it to actually happen.
And this is one of the positives of social media, right? Being able to spread the word for a good cause. So, man, prayers up for you, bro. Keep fighting. You're in good spirits. You're always in good spirits. Who am I kidding?
What's the alternative, man? What's the alternative? Sit home.
No,
and,
you're right. Listen,
know,
I always tell my
phone.
wife, whenever we get in these positions where like it's something, I'm like, listen, if you can't control the situation, don't let the situation control you. I know it sounds silly at the moment when you're frustrated, but you're going to look back at it and go, man, I was mad about not fucking finding my cell phone for 5 minutes. Like, that's what I was upset about. Like, stupid, because we take life for granted. So, I mean, just your perspective on life, man, I just know you got good blessings coming your way, brother. Seriously.
Thank you. I'm hoping, and there's a little part of me that says I hope I do it before the football season, because nothing would be greater for me than to walk into the home opener, after transplant. I'm probably gonna have to wear a mask for the first 6 months because the immune system completely goes shot after you get your a liver transplant. But still, I think it would be worth it.
Maybe we figure out a way to get your ass in a box if that happens.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, it's all good, and I will keep everybody updated. I do get people messaging me, texting me, sending messages saying, "Hey, if you heard anything, have you heard anything?" No.
Yeah, and for everybody out there, please share E's stories, share what you can, throw it out there. He's okay with it. He wants it. The more eyes, the better. So, like, seriously,
absolutely,
like, it's infectious. You throw that out there and it spreads like wildfire. We might find that guy. Might find out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know.
Yeah, and I love, one of these days I'm thinking about going to the NFL saying, "Hey, you got any ex-NFL players?" Because they were the big guys. They're the ones that are going to have the bigger livers. Yeah. We did have a woman who knew my wife from high school 30 some odd years ago, and she went through all the different phases, got to the phase where she actually visited UPenn, where the transplant's going to happen, had a CT scan, and come to find out her liver was too small. So it wouldn't be a good match for me. But they said, "Hey, we've got 200 patients here at UPenn that have been approved for a live living donor, and they have 0 people waiting, 0 people who have applied." And she said, "Well, I will help. If you can find a match for me, even though I came in for Ian, I'm going to go ahead and help one of these 200 people." So that actually kind of brought tears to my eyes too, because I was like, somebody's going to get a call that they were not expecting it, because they didn't have that same support and they don't have that, that influence that I have. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, and I've made it a point too to tell my doctor, I said, when I get through this thing, man, I'm going to be an advocate to try and help people. I need to, because
you already are an advocate to try to help people. It's just going to elevate even further, honestly.
That's my hope. That's my goal. So
that's
it will
real
continue.
Power, man, real pull, man. Because like you said, like you say that you gave somebody a liver, whether accidentally or not, like that was you. So like that's real power, man. That's real pull. That's just what you've always done. In my eyes, I remember when I got on Twitter 10 years ago, my dad was like, "You got to meet this guy," and I'm like, "Who?" I'm like, "It's Twitter. Like, what are we talking about?" He's like, "Big E. Like he's every game. This guy's awesome." And I was like, all right, he said like he's gonna be expecting you. So like I reached out to you, we followed each other, and dude, my dad was right, per usual, of course. Your dad's always right.
Love Bobby Senior. He's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah,
big conversation with him.
Greatest person ever. We all know that now. That's not a secret anymore. I'm not breaking news here though. You're incredible, man. Like Joe said, it couldn't have happened to a better person, which is clearly why you get the feedback and the push and the support that you've gotten. And like Joe also said, I think that this will work out for you because good things happen to good people, and you've put your time in, man. You've done all the work already. So God's got you, man. No doubt about that.
Thank you, guys, and as always, thank you for having me on the platform.
And don't you bet your bottom dollar we're gonna get your ass back on here again.
Oh, I will be. Bobby said it. I was going to be on for the draft. I was sitting at a restaurant. I'm like, I committed to joining a few minutes, a little bit before the draft, and then it got all screwed up. But whatever,
for good reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Real quick, hey, for positive vibes, real quick to end. How did you feel about the draft? And we'll get off here.
I actually, so it was mixed. I wish they hadn't traded away their middle round picks, because I felt like there was probably some good playmakers there that could potentially be fringe starters. But I love the big bodies in the trenches. I don't think you can go wrong. I think you're going to have 2 first-day starters, one on the offensive line and one on the defensive line. My wife, after we drafted Jonah, she's like, he's going to be protecting Tua, right? And I said, yeah. She said, well, then that was a great pick because we need Tua to be healthy. And so my wife, who's, she doesn't follow football all that much, but she knows how important Tua is to our team. Exactly. And the other guys, I think too, it's going to be interesting to see what they look like at camp. All of their tape looks amazing. Everything that's been shared, in college looks amazing. But once they start putting on the pads against NFL players, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they react. And if guys want to make names for themselves, now's the opportunity to make it. You're in the NFL, let's do it. So, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities on the defensive side for guys to get starting roles.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Well, boys, the year is about to start again. Get ready.
Thank God.
I'm back on the wagon. Here we go.
Let's go.
All right, Biggie, I'm going to get all the information from you in the DMs and stuff, and I'll make a big post tomorrow. We'll help spread that word some more. Obviously, you've had no shortcoming of people helping you spread your word and getting the word out. Obviously, everybody has reached out, so we're going to do our part, though. We'd love to. Nothing more to make us happy. But thanks for hopping on. Glad you got to talk a little bit with Sony and then, of course, us and tell your story, man. It couldn't have worked out any better.
I appreciate you guys again. Thank you, and I'll definitely be on. And whenever y'all want me on, I'll definitely jump on. So you guys have a good night.
All right, man. Thank y'all for showing up.